Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Klinger2. In today's video, I'm just going to be going over how I build my teams in Pokemon, how I think, basically from when I played, I've got to 1700-ish. I got a little bit higher than that in Ubers. So, I mean, I don't know, like, there's some teams that are definitely better than mine, but as far as, like, the actual team building goes, I have gotten pretty high in the ladders as far as Ubers go. So yeah, take my words as you will, and if you have any questions or concerns, just put them down in the comments if you think you have any better ideas. So I'm just going to kind of start this off by saying this is my first time doing like kind of a sketch video, so here we go. So basically we got one setter, normally about two attackers. With that being said, you can have two defenders, but sometimes the attackers and defenders can be kind of intermixed between special attack and attack normally. So with that said, if you have a really bulky, just defensive Pokemon, you can sometimes be able to get away with giving like a Swords Dance or a Dragon Dance to them. Just give them that extra buff basically by swamping in and taking a hit and then doing basically a buff and then, starting to actually hammer people with them. Like Dragonite's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind. Dragonite's pretty bulky as far as a Pokemon goes. So then you give them Dragon Dance and it makes them pretty strong with the attack and speed buff, and then with extreme speed and Dragon Claw and stuff, you can do quite a bit of damage. That's more of a recent example. And you can kind of switch that out for a special attacker if you want as well. I mean, Kyogre is what I use a lot in Ubers, and Kyogre is just super good. So if you use Calm Mind, you can just boost that defense, special defense, special attack, and you're pretty much off to the races, to be honest, if you have just a decent item on them. So yeah, I'm mainly focusing on this video just talking about how you build a team. As far as items go, I'm not going to go too much into that. I'm not going to really go too much into abilities. I just want to talk about like the bare minimums to get you to a point where you can actually use a decently okay team, no matter what rank you're in. This is what I kind of strive for every one of my teams, no matter how goofy they are or like how serious I'm going to make them. So, yeah, we got one setter, normally about two attackers, two special attackers, and depending on those, you can kind of swamp out their defenses and stuff like that. You normally want about one pretty good status ailment setter, and you want basically a spinner, so you can get all the stuff off your side of the field. I call them spinners. They could be defoggers or anything like that. And really, you just want good type diversity. That's a big deal. You want type diversity that's good typings, because there are bad typings in Pokemon, or let's put it this way, they're less good of a type, like Ice and Bug and stuff like that in comparison to Steel and Fairy. So you want to really look at the types and stuff like that to give you the best, basically, advantage you can possibly get to. And yeah, really that's about it. After that, you really just want to have some pretty much Pokemon that can swamp out pretty easy. Like if you have U-Turn, U-Turn's really good. Volt Switch, Parting Shot, stuff like that. So I'm just going to go over a few of my teams. I don't think I have enough time to really make a team, but I can definitely go through that as well. I made a lot of teams. I'm going to make a lot more teams for like kind of goofy Pokemon and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty much up here we got Necrozma Duskmane, and this is for, like I said, Gen 8 National Dex Anything Goes. And Duskmane has Stealth Rocks, like I said, you need a setter. And its typing is really good because it has Steel and Psychic, and it also has Prisma Armor. That's kind of the whole thing about Necrozma. So I wasn't going to talk about abilities, but for Necrozma, Prisma Armor is very vital because it actually has super effective damage. So this dude's pretty much scot-free for basically just being a massive tank. And that's why, I have his attack maxed out for that reason. That Prisma Armor basically, it depletes a lot of the damage that's going to be coming to him anyway. And then Weakness Policy just buffs the attack and special attack. And this is after, basically, these teams that I'm going to show you, like this one, was after I kind of got to that point where I felt like I was just like, okay, I basically won. I'm just going to make, like, funny teams. That's pretty much what I started doing here. So he also has Dragon Dance, like I said. Since he has a huge, bulky, with Prisma Armor, this dude's, like, literally unstoppable for at least 1 or 2 turns. So you can Dragon Dance, you can Stealth Rocks pretty much guaranteed almost every time. Even in Ubers, it's pretty common to get that off. And then in this gen, you got Dynamax, so you could just Dynamax off that and just start like owning people if they didn't kill you, basically. And then you got Eternatus. Eternatus is a massive wall, man. Massive wall. Its defense I maxed out. His special defense is kind of iffy, but the thing is, I have Reflect on him, and since you had it, and it depends on the meta too, is how you kind of want to build it. But outside of that, really, if you just get these core things down, this is all you really need to do. You need 2 attackers, 2 special attackers. You need either a setter, like rocks, spikes, toxic spikes, preferably one. Rocks is generally good enough, honestly. Stealth rocks. And you need good party rotation. You need a spinner to get the stuff off your field, which is what basically Yveltal is for me on this team, is basically a defogger. So defog gets off the entry hazards on your side and their side. So if you have stealth rocks on your side, you get them off your side. If they have stealth rocks on their side, it also clears off their side of the field too. So with that being said, it's not like the absolute best case scenario, but a lot of times if you have a focus sash, you need to have the defog activated to get the rocks off your field, because you need to have the focus sash, right? So a lot of times that it can actually help out a lot. So for this team, Zacian, super aggressive Pokemon, absolutely nuts. This Pokemon, in my opinion, is probably the strongest Pokemon in all Pokemon. I think it's just massively busted, to be honest. Its speed stat's crazy. Its attack is super high. Its typing is literally nuts. It's one of the best typings in the game, if not the best. And its basically move pool is crazy strong. So overall, Zacian Crown, super good attacker. Now, this is kind of a gimmick Pokemon. Darkrai is not really what you want to use on a team most of the time, but with Hypnosis and its speed being good with the special attacks, like I said, special attack, you want one of those. So this is my special attacker. If I get Hypnosis on you, this dude's just going to start shredding, because he has Substitute, and then I can basically spam Hypnosis. His Z move gives him plus speed with Hypnosis, so he gets, like, it literally becomes faster than regular, if I'm not mistaken. And you just start spamming Dark Pulse, getting that flinch off, getting the Hypnosis. It's a dirty Pokemon. Super dirty. I'll post all these teams in the description of the video as well if you want to go check those out. So, yeah, I'm going to probably go over one team after this. And then basically we got Lugia over here as being another special defender. This guy's full bulk. The reason is because he has weakness policy. Weakness policy combining with multi-scale is insane. The first attack is literally nullified. It might as well not even attack, okay? That's basically how multi-scale works. If they're at full health, it takes like half damage. It doesn't matter if it's super effective or not. If it's a super effective attack, which Dark runs really rampant in these like ranks, weakness policy activates. Dude gets all of his attacks buffed, and his defenses are off the charts. So this dude just starts going crazy with, and plus Tailwind, making this dude super fast, being big support for the whole team. If I want to use it that way, it's super good. Tailwind's really good. Earth Power, Psycho Boost, Aeroblast. This dude's like melting people out here. So yeah, overall, this is a pretty good team. I had some pretty big successes with this. But yeah, I would just like I said, that's pretty much how this runs down. We got an attacker here. This guy's kind of split down the middle, but he has Recover, so that kind of makes up. This is considered a bulky Pokemon in my opinion because it has Reflect. I can spam Reflect, spam Recover. In this gen, you had I think 12 recovers, so you had a lot of recovers. And you got Yveltal over here being an attacker. Even though he's not really used like that, it's still an attacker. It's mainly a defogger attacker. Zacian, super high in attack, so the dude's definitely an attack. You got Darkrai as a special attack. And you got Lugia as basically a bulky wall, and once weakness policy activates, dude starts going ham. So that's pretty much how that team works. So if I go into another team here, I'm just going to go into my more recent team that I used to try to climb OU. It's not super good, but it still gets the point across what I'm trying to say. So pretty much what we got here is we got a big attacker being Ceruledge and Iron Valiant. Now these two are going to be basically glass cannons with focus sash. This person can live basically one hit guaranteed, as Destiny Bond to outspeed. If it outspeeds and they attack basically after I use Destiny Bond, they die instantly. Or I can use knockoff and try to get some items knocked off and stuff like that. Knockoff's also very good. I want to say it's required, but it's very, very useful, basically. So Glimmora could also be a setter because its other ability is actually a setting move. Toxic Debris, if someone hits you physically, it puts basically toxic spikes on their side of the field, which is really nice. But I use it instead as a special attacker here. So I'm using it as a special attacker. I'm putting these two as massive attackers. I'm putting a Mungus as basically a status ailment, and it has Regenerator. So when I swamp this Pokemon out, it gains health, which is super good and has leftovers. Spore is basically a guaranteed swamp out for sure, and you might be able to get an extra kill basically because of sleep. This is how it goes. So yeah, we also got Grimmsnarl out here, which is my main lead on this. Now this one I don't really have a setter, and the reason is because Grimmsnarl is going to do pretty much enough for me to basically do some stuff, because I can set up light screen, reflect, I can spam parting shot over and over again. And I'm not saying that not having a setter is good, because any team can benefit from having rocks. Okay, that's just how it goes. But when it comes down to it, to me, this is sufficient enough. But if you really want to go for a stealth rocks on this, you definitely can, and it probably would benefit greatly. So yeah. Now, as far as a person who gets off the rocks, if you have them on your side, Mortal Spin. This is my spinner. So basically, spin gets off the sides on your side only instead of the fog where it gets off both sides. So that said, now I also have another special attacker down here. So I have two special attackers. 1, 2. I have 1, 2. These are my basically two bulky Pokemon I can swamp in and out. And Quiver Dance is just freaking crazy, dude. That's an insane move. Honestly, near busted. I don't, especially on Volcarona, where it already has a ton of special attack. Quiver Dance just goes ham with Volcarona. So yeah, all in all, this is kind of what I'm looking at. Like I said, you want one setter, two attackers, preferably two Pokemon that can have pretty good survivability through defense and special defense. If not, you got to substitute like Recover or something like Regenerator, or have them have something like Prankster, which is basically Grimmsnarl's ability, where it basically can promote a reflector light screen to give them that bulk, essentially through status moves. You want good party rotation for sure. You also want good typings. I can go into that in a later video. And you want basically anything, if it's just one or two Pokemon that can cost statuses through paralysis, sleep. Toxic is also a really good one. Anything along those lines, you really want those. Outside of that, I mean, you just want strong Pokemon that can hit really hard. But yeah, that's really how it goes. If you have any questions or you have any concerns, maybe you just want to like put something in there that you think is also really good in the comments, feel free to do that. And feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Have a good day, everyone.